I don't know about you, but I like to think of car makers as different people with distinct personalities. Take Audi, for example. That's a very serious Munich businessman with clipped hair, loves triathlons at the weekend and eats very dark brown bread. Vauxhall, British guy, beer belly, loves darts and builds whatever cars the French tell him to. Whereas Peugeot is a very sophisticated Parisian lady who's very good at watercolour paintings, but likes absinthe a little bit too much and then orders some slightly strange cars like this. The 408 is a proper modern oddity, but it's actually quite good, as we're going to find out in this video review that I've just spoiled for you by saying it's good. Let's get on with it. Technically, the 408 is a hatchback, but it doesn't really look like one, does it? It kind of looks like a saloon. It's not an SUV, but it is jacked up a little bit. It's its own thing. Now, what it is quite big. It's 4.7 meters long. That makes it longer than Peugeot's 3008 SUV. And I guess its nearest rival might be something like the Cupra Formentor, which is also a jacked up, not SUV, not hatchback type thing. And this is way longer than that as well. It's actually the same length as a Skoda Octavia Estate, which should mean when we look inside, it's got more spare room than my wallet after I discover the M&S Christmas food catalogue each year. Yeah, I know it's a chicken inside a duck inside a bat, but why is it 70 quid? I think you have to admit though, the 408 certainly looks like nothing else from the front as well. I think it looks really stylish. You've got these gouges down the wings, got these angles, you've got a little channel on the roof as well. You've got these LED fangs, you've got matrix LED headlights on a top spec GT model. I think it looks expensive, and it was when it was new. This has got the entry level 1.2 litre petrol engine. This was 36 grand when it was new. It's now a year old, it's done 15,000 miles. It's now a 27 grand car, but it's not depreciated as much as the plug-in hybrid version. That's got 225 horsepower and was 45 grand. We've had them in stock at Motorpoint with 1,000 miles on them for 29 grand. So getting on for 20 grand of depreciation, which does make this a bit of a second-hand bargain. So yes, whilst this was originally an expensive car, inside, I think it does feel just about up there with its, well, not rivals, but some German cars, shall we say. It feels very posh. You've got a digital dashboard, which has a 3D effect on it. I don't know why, but it's crazy and different. You look at it over a traditional small steering wheel like you get in all Peugeots. You've got a big infotainment system here, which has got wireless CarPlay now and Android Auto. It's very sharp. It's actually very easy to use. And you've got this secondary screen under it, which you can customize with little shortcuts and things like that. You've got some physical controls down here for things like your window demisters, but you've still got to go into the touchscreen to change the temperature, which is a bit of a faff. But otherwise, I'm very impressed with the 408's cabin. For a start, it's a French car that's got a full width glove box. And we have a little bit of French music just to say, yay, well done. You finally switched it to right-hand drive correctly. That's enough music. But anyway, down here you've got some space for your phone. You've got space which doesn't actually have a wireless charger in this one, but you can get one. You've got cup holders there. You've got some storage here with USB-C in it. You've got really quite big door bins, and they're felt lined. These Alcantara seats look nice, but they're not heated. The weird thing about this car is on GT models, you don't get heated seats, but you do get heated steering wheel. Let's check out the rest of it. Back seat space in the 408 is actually pretty good. I don't feel stuffed in here. I've got knee room. I've got a little bit less headroom than I would like. If I lean all the way back, my head does touch the ceiling, but I am 6'3". That is my driving position. I don't have a load of room for my feet, but that seat is as low as it will go. But actually, I've got more space in the back of this than in the new 3008 SUV, which is over there, and more room than almost any other Peugeot. So it is a roomy car. You've got a nice flat floor there. The middle seat is actually pretty wide. That's not too bad. If I fold this down, I have got cup holders, but a nice padded bit so my elbow isn't resting on hard plastic. I've got a couple of USB-Cs down there. It's pretty good back here. The only real niggle, as I said, is headroom, and also the doors have got big door bins, but it does mean it's a little bit harder to get child seats in and out. But it's pretty good. Well done, Peugeot. Now, just like a hippo with a handbag, the 408 is stylish and practical. So yeah, it looks very nice around here with these slanted lights. You've got the Peugeot Shield badge. You've got an electric boot, which just didn't open for some reason. Why is it beeping at me? But it is a big space. It's 536 litres. Now, if we're going to compare that to the Cupra Formentor, this is more than 100 litres bigger. It's a really nice practical space with some caveats. You've got a bit of a load lip here. If you get a plug-in hybrid model, you lose 50 litres of space. But there are some nice touches. You've got levers for folding down the back seats remotely, and this parcel shelf just gets out of your way, so you can actually use the space. Now, obviously, because it's got a sloping roofline, it's not going to be the most practical space. And actually, if you're looking for a tow car, the Formentor is a better choice. This can only tow about 1.4 tons on a brake trailer, regardless of which engine you pick. The Cupra can do between 1.5 and 2 tons. But look at it. It's quite a pretty bum. Right, we're going to go for a drive in the Peugeot 408 now. Excuse the child seats in the back, but this is actually my car for the next 3 months. I'm going to run it as a company car. But the first thing I have noticed since I picked this up the other week is that the view out the back corners is quite compromised by the svelte swoopy roofline, and the rear window is quite small and has no windscreen wiper on the back either. Windscreen wiper, rear window wiper. But as soon as I start driving this car, even in this basic 1.2 litre, 130 horsepower, petrol form with the 3-cylinder wet belt motor, it is just quite a sophisticated car. Yes, 130 horsepower isn't loads, but it's brisk enough. It's absolutely fine for real world driving. And unlike all the Peugeots I've driven lately, this one's actually quite fun to drive. The steering's quite sharp, it's not overly quick, and it just, I don't know, it feels a bit sportier than most other Peugeots. And also, because it's not a big heavy SUV, it rides quite well as well, even on these stylish big wheels. It feels dangerously close to a German car, I would say. Something from the Volkswagen stable, perhaps. So it feels very grown up to drive, and I've done quite a few motorway miles as well in this car, and it gets up to 80, not that you should be doing 80, it gets up to 80 reasonably easily, and it will go more than that if you want it to, without really grumbling. Only thing I would say is that when you're doing advanced motorway speeds, your MPG does suffer, and it will go down to the mid-30s. But if you stick to a legal cruising speed, you can easily get 45, 50 MPG out of this if you're not lead-footed. So I'm just really impressed with the way this drives. The suspension works well, the brakes work well when someone's driving a Suzuki Swift at your face, and it's just puts me in a good mood. It's relaxed. The automatic gearbox actually, for once in a Peugeot, does what it needs to do. It gets out of your way and it doesn't hesitate too much. And it's got paddles so you can take over if you need to. And they're not the old rubbish paddles that Peugeot used to give you, which kind of the whole thing moved like a switch. These actually feel like proper paddles, although they are plasticky. So yeah, there's really nothing to dislike about the way this drives. It's one of the nicer Peugeots to drive and look at as well, let's be honest, which is a big part of the appeal of a car like this. You're not really buying it for practicality, although it is quite practical. You're buying it because it looks dope or something. Now, you do sit a bit higher than in a regular hatchback in this, but not SUV high. You're just yay higher than in something like a 308. And that did help back there, seeing over those hedges at junctions, but it's not giving you the full lording it over the surfs in your turnip fields experience. Anyway, it's probably enough about the way this drives before I start doing some kind of social history of the United Kingdom and France. Let's get back to me for a conclusion. I think Peugeot's pulled a bit of a blinder with the 408. They've done something really remarkable. They've taken a weird concept car looking thing and actually turned it into a practical, useful family car that's not a pain to live with. I mean, there are some concessions to looking a bit funky. You've got that limited rear headroom, there's that load lip in the boot, and there's no rear window wiper. So when darkness comes at night and it's winter, you can't really see out the back very easy. But other than that, it's one of the best Peugeots to drive. It's comfortable, it's almost a little bit sporty. I like the infotainment tech, the cabin feels posh. I only wish it had some slightly more interesting engines. You've got the 1.2 petrol and the plug-in hybrids. There's no diesel option. There is an EV option, but it's only got a range of about 280 miles and it's very expensive. But as a second-hand buy, the 408 is a proper left-field choice that you can stick your family in and feel very happy about buying. Anyway, it's a good car. Was this a good video? Tell us by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the Motorpoint YouTube channel. Go down to the comments and tell me what your favourite Peugeot is. And you're all going to say 205 GTI, I bet, but whatever. The 408 is good. Go and try one before this camera gets inserted in my eyeball.